A pleasant day, everyone, especially to our professor, Sir Celestino Siglos. My name is Lizelle Pancho from Section 1Y AMGO3, and I am here virtually to answer the final examinations questions. For the first question, explain language as an object of scientific study. So Chomsky refers to internalized language as a component of the mind and language as a study subject. The methodologies that view language as a social fact, an activity, and the outcomes of behavior are interested in studying language as something that exists outside of the middle of its speakers. Second question, what communication system do animals use? Animal communication is pretty much the same as human communication. A response or some change occurs from the same old procedure of communication information to one another or the intergroup. So sender, receiver, and feedback are all engaged as with humans. The only distinction you can find is that you speak with right words while they speak through using different means of communication. Animals commonly express themselves through different methods of communication. The first is auditory communication involving sound, visual communication involving gesture, posture, tactile communication involving touch, and chemical communication. For the third question, explain human language and animal communication. So, human language is distinct from all other known animal forms of communication in being compositional. Human language allows speakers to express thoughts in sentences comprising subjects, verbs, and objects, such as I kick the ball, and recognizing past, present, and future tenses. While animals can communicate with one another through the conveyance of information that influence the recipient's present day or future behavior. Information may be transmitted consciously, such as during a courtship display, or unconsciously, such as with a predator and accidentally transfers scent to a prey animal. The fourth question, explain artificial and natural language. So, natural languages are all languages that have evolved naturally through interaction and repetition without any conscious planning of their development. For instance, English, Hindi, German, Chinese, Serbian, etc. are all natural languages. When it comes in artificial languages are created for a specific experiment. For instance, if a researcher focuses on a particular grammar feature, example, cases or word order, the artificial language is developed for that purpose. It won't consist of millions of words because it will make the experiment harder. Instead, it will have a rather limited vocabulary since the main focus of the experiment is grammar. The fifth question, what is the relationship between language and power? So, power relationships in communication have emerged from critical language studies, social linguistics, conversation analysis, and the social psychology of language and communication. Two of them stem from pre existing powers behind language that it reveals and reflects, thereby transferring the extralinguistics powers to the communication context. At the macro level, the power behind language is a speaker's possessing of a weapon, money, high social status, or other attractive personal qualities. The other three are based on the collective power of the communities that speak the language. The sixth question, how does language affect power? So, even in democracies, language is used to exert power. Language can be effective tool of power in totalitarian state. Language and social discourses can be influenced by those with political clout and media weight. The seventh question, what are language ideologies in linguistics? develops our attitude that influence speakers' relationship to their own and other languages and serve as a mediator between the social use of language and the socio-economic and political system in which it takes place or referred to as language ideologies. So the eighth question, what is the concept of diaspora? So the word diaspora, which derives from the Greek verb dispir, which means to scatter, was first used in ancient Greece to describe people from powerful nations who voluntarily left their homes to settle in conquered territories. Diaspora comes into flavors, forced and voluntary. So forced migration frequently result from catastrophic occurrences like war, imperialist invasion, slavery, or natural disasters like prolonged starvation or drought. Because of this, members of a forced diaspora frequently experience sentiments of persecution, loss, and longing for their native country. A voluntary diaspora, on the other hand, is a group of people who left their countries of origin in pursuit of job opportunities. The ninth question, what is online and social media communication? So, online communication refers to the ways in which individuals as well as computers can communicate with each other over a computer network, such as the internet. These ways include chat rooms, email, filling out online forms, forums, instant messaging, posting comments on websites such as a blogs, social networking sites. Same goes with social media communication. Um, it is an internet based form of communication, and the platforms allowed users to have conversations, share information, and create web content. And the 10th question, do all languages change through times? So pronunciation change with time. New words are coined or borrowed. The meaning of old words shifts and morphology either develops or degrades. The connection will eventually become virtually identical to chance connection between historically unrelated language after 10,000 years. Language shift is frequently socially awkward in the modern world. Divergent dialects exhibit communication problems and inefficiency long before they lost their ability to understand one another fully, especially in noisy or stressful situations. People typically react negatively to language change and believe that it has gone downhill as they watch it happen. Older folks seldom seem to comment on how much better the language their grandchild or children generation is the language of their own youth. For the 11th question, how long does it take for a language to change? So language is constantly evolving. We've seen that the language changes across space and across social groups. Language changes with time as well. Pronunciation change with time, new words are coined and borrowed, the meaning of old words shift, and morphology either develops or degrades. Just like what I said ago, that the pace of change varies, but regardless matter how quickly or slowly they happen, the mother tongue eventually becomes arbitrarily remote and alien. The old and new languages won't be understandable to one another after 1,000 years. After 10,000 years, then the relationship will be practically indistinguishable from chance associations between historically unrelated languages. And for the 12th question, what is the relationship between language, culture, and thought? The links among language, culture, and thought are complex. Thus, according actual data from a variety of fields, culture influences language, language influences thought, and the structure of languages is constrained by universally shared perception and cognition. Though neither language nor culture appears to influence thought, they both appear to draw attention to particular parts of the world, with a bigger influence when where there are no obvious categories to be seen. Research must explore the connection between language, culture, perception, and cognition in many contexts. And the last question is, how does language affect culture and thought? So the language we use has significant culture and economic significance to the point that it can be influence our thinking and even shape our worldview. Not only does language affect our sense of our colors and family, but it also influence human decision such as spending behavior. Knowing these consequences might not only help us make more thoughtful choices regarding our spending habits, but it can also help us become more aware of how we speak about the future and how it influences our daily lives. And those are my answer for final examination. Thank you and mabuhay.